Hey, everybody, and welcome to Indie Strong, the Facebook Live event. This is episode number 2, and I am your host, I guess, for lack of a better word, Jennifer McMurrian. And in case you don't know who I am, my Quail Crossing series is probably what I'm best well known for, and that is a book that I've gotten into the hands of over 250,000 people. So I did not do that alone, though. I had help. And so these Facebook Live videos are my version of paying it forward, helping you become indie strong one question at a time. We are in a very exciting time in publication right now. Right now, we don't need the gatekeepers to tell us whether or not our work is good enough. If we are strong enough and motivated enough in our writing, then we can be a successful writer. We can share the success with others. And so that is what the whole purpose of Indie Strong is to help you one question at a time figure out how to navigate this crazy publication world. Now, do I know everything? Absolutely not. I am still learning it myself every day. I am reading. I'm currently reading, somebody asked me this the other day, what am I reading in order to kind of help me? And I posted a picture of this and a lot of people laughed, but I am reading 5,000 words per hour by Chris Fox. And I know that seems crazy. I don't ever see myself writing 5,000 words per hour, but he's got a lot of great tips in here on how to be more productive during the day, especially when your time is limited like mine is, because I have children, I have family, I have a husband, I have things that I do outside of the writing world. And so my day is pretty much broken up into pieces. And so I want to make each one of those pieces more productive. So that's why I'm reading this. And it's really, the thing about Chris Fox, and I do recommend his books, is even if you look at it and you think, well, gosh, that's never going to happen, the way he writes it, you kind of get done and you're like, well, maybe that could happen. Maybe I could do it, because he's very encouraging. And so if you need encouragement and you want to be a little bit more productive, he's got a whole line of Write Faster, Write Smarter books. And they're super quick reads, as you can see, tiny. And I have to read them more than once because there's just so much information to digest. And so I'm continually learning. I'm hoping that what I learn, I can pay forward, and vice versa. I know I can learn from each one of you as well. So let's go on to the questions. Thank you, everybody who sent questions. I really appreciate it. If you have a question for me during this live video, you can write it in the comments and I will answer it. Or you can PM me and I will answer it at a later date if you don't want everybody to see who you are and what you're asking. So, all right, the first question I have today is from Amy in Arkansas, and it's, how do I balance more than one project at a time? Amy is trying to work on 2 projects, and she is in need of a way to balance it, plus encouragement. So here's the first part, the encouragement. You can absolutely work more than one project at a time. In fact, as an indie author, I strongly recommend that you do. A lot of people are the one project at a time until it's finished, and I totally understand that. I really do. But as an independent author, you almost have to have one getting ready for publication, one in edits, one in rough drafts, one in content edits. I mean, you have to juggle a lot of balls because you have to publish more often than traditional publishers do. And it's not fair, but it's the truth of it. And sometimes this world, especially in the publishing world, is not fair. You know, when you see celebrities getting book deals, doesn't always feel fair. You know, when you see the same movie being remade like 4,000 times, and you know there's great screenwriters out there who would love a chance to have their movie made, doesn't seem fair. But we do. We have to publish more often. Current standards state that you should publish 4 times a year as an independent author. Chris, this guy, he says 6 times a year. I can't even begin to fathom publishing 6 times a year, but 4 times a year. And so is what I strive for. But it doesn't have to be full-length novels, because that is a lot. And I definitely want to make sure that you have a quality product over quantity. And so you can do things like getting published in Chicken Soup for the Soul. That would be a publication that you don't even have to put the money out for. They pay you. In fact, I have a Chicken Soup book coming out next week. And so it's called Think Positive, Live Happy. And my essay, Yes, I Can, about the time I hiked Heart Mountain, I even wear my little Heart Mountain necklace today, is what I wrote about. It was by far one of the hardest things that I've ever done physically, besides giving labor, but at least then I had an epidural. So yeah, by far, on The Biggest Loser, when they're working so hard and they're crying, I totally understand that frame of mind because I was right there. I was tears, but I made it to the top because yes, I will make it to the top. So you can publish in anthologies, you can publish short stories, you can publish novellas. If you publish novellas, I strongly recommend that your novellas have something to do with your series. And you can publish full books. And we can talk about this more later, but yeah, 4 times is the industry standard. So you definitely should be working on more than one project at a time. So that comes with balance. How do you balance that? How does it not just become an overwhelming pile of words? And that's very simple. You really have to be great at time management. I mentioned my planner the last time and how I'm such a big nerd about planners. And the reason I'm a big nerd about planners is because I have to plan out my day and what I'm going to work on. And one of the things that Chris Fox has mentioned in his book is doing writing sprints, writing for 20 minutes and not doing anything else. Well, it might work for you if you break down your hour in 20-minute increments and maybe do that writing sprint for 20 minutes and then do that writing sprint for 20 minutes and then maybe edit for 20 minutes and then maybe listen to your audiobook for 20 minutes. Whatever you need to do to get the job done. But you definitely have to be a planner if you're going to be in independent publishing because you're the boss. You do everything. And that includes getting the project started and getting them finished and getting them out in a timely manner that your readers want. Woo! So anyway, so that's the first question. How do I balance more than one project at a time? Really, just carve that time out in your calendar. Say, I'm going to write during this time, I'm going to edit during this time, and then stick to it. Even though that story may be calling you, I hate editing. It is one of those necessary evils in this career. I know people who love the process. I don't. I would rather just bang out story after story after story after story, but that's not how it works. You got to edit because you also have to quality. Remember what I said, quality? You cannot skimp on quality. So anyway, balance. That's how you do it. You have to have good time management. You have to put in marketing because I tell you what, there are 4 ways to become a independently strong author. And there's 4 qualities you have to have. And that's quality of writing, quantity of writing, marketing, and resilience. You have to have those things if you want to be indie strong. There's just no doubt about it. You have to have a quality product every single time. You cannot skimp on that. You cannot skimp editing. Please don't skip on editing. And hire a copy editor because our brains are phenomenal. And there may be a typo right in front of you, but your brain will change it to the right thing because it knows what's supposed to be there. So hire somebody to look at your work. Okay, so quality, quantity, you got to write. You got to do it every day. And even if you can't do it every day, do it as often as you can. Hello, Glenn. And so marketing, you just got to learn. You have to continually read. You have to continually look at blogs. You have to ask other people. And if somebody asks you what's working for them, share. Because we are not competitors. We are colleagues. And so that is one of the reasons I'm doing this, is to let people know that this is a really cool industry that we're in with really cool people. And so I want to definitely pay that forward. And then resilience. Don't give up. The people who are successful at being independently published, they just haven't given up. And sometimes that's a really hard pill to swallow because it's not always easy. Okay, so question number 2. Why are you using your personal profile instead of your author profile to go live? And that's from Tracy in Oklahoma. It's very simple. I want to reach more people. I love Facebook. Facebook is totally my jam. Everybody knows that. It is by far the place that I procrastinate the most because I love keeping up with people, especially you fine people that are watching today. So I love Facebook, but their author platforms, their business pages, they're very stifling. They want you to pay. And as a lot of independent authors know, we are on budgets and we have to skimp wherever we can. And so that is why I chose to do it on my public profile instead of my author profile. Now, once this is done, I will download it. I will load it up to YouTube, and that way other people can watch it that maybe aren't my friends yet, or don't like watching Facebook Live, or they just prefer YouTube platform. So I definitely want to have like other options there for them. So it's very simple. I just want to reach more people. And in today's industry, it is easier than ever to get published and harder than ever to get noticed. And so, Stephen James said that at an OWFI conference a few years ago, and it has just really stuck with me. And so, yes, I'm doing Facebook Live to pay it forward and answer people's questions and try to put information out there to help people. But I'm also doing it to get noticed, because it is hard to get noticed. And you have to find that one thing that will help you get noticed. And even though I'm really good at going and giving workshops and talking to a whole bunch of people, this is so out of my comfort zone. I feel like the biggest goofball sitting in my office all by myself, like just basically talking to my reflection. So yeah, I'm doing this to get noticed. And also I want to do something nice, because I really do believe in karma. I believe that if you are helpful towards others, others will be helpful towards you. And there will be a lot of fun and peace in the writing world, because we are really a great group of people. I'm just saying. Okay, so this one is from Kennedy from Texas. What is the most important thing you can tell me about being an independent author? Well, those 4 things that I mentioned before, quality, quantity, marketing, and resilience. Those are the 4 things you absolutely have to have in order to be successful in this business. But I would say out of those 4 things, the number 1 thing you have to have is resilience. And it's not always easy. Like I said, it can be awfully hard sometimes when you're sitting at that screen, because writing is a very solitary activity. We may have characters running through our heads, but when we're writing that rough draft, we're almost always by ourselves doing it. We don't usually have content editors at that time, don't usually have anybody reading it for us at that time. So it's just us and our characters. And even though I love that little world, it can be really hard and lonely sometimes. Plus, it costs money to be an independent author. You have to pay for covers. And yes, please pay for covers unless you're a graphic artist yourself. I've said this before, I will say it again. Nothing kills a book faster than a bad cover. So please make sure that you have a good cover, and that a quality cover. And so that can be hard. Paying for those covers, quality costs money. Paying for that copy editor, quality costs money. Those are things you can't do on your own, most likely. So budgeting, making the ends meet. And I'm going to tell you, it takes time. My first book may have hit number 1 on the Amazon bestseller list, but that's when the algorithms were different on Amazon, and I'm fully aware of that. And so, yeah, my first series has been really successful, and I'm really lucky. It was luck. It was luck that I did what I did at the time that I did it. And that's because I asked people about marketing, and I did what was working at the time. And so they paid it forward. I'm paying it forward. I know I say that a lot, but I just want to get the point across that I'm really doing this because I want to help people. But yeah, you have to stay resilient, because even after Quail Crossings hit number 1 and the series does well, sometimes there are these lows, and I'm thinking, how am I going to pay my bills this month? You know, it's really hard. And I could not do this without the support of my husband. I would have a 9-to-5 just like everybody else does. And I'm very lucky that I'm able to do this as a full-time job. Well, that and mommy, definitely mommy full-time. So the most important thing I can tell you is don't quit. Keep writing. You have a story that's meant to be told. If you feel passionate about it, to put it on paper, that you have to sit down and you have to write it, then it's meant to be told, and it's meant to be read by the world. And it may take them a while to notice you, but they will. If you don't quit, somebody will take notice. It's just getting your book in the hand of the right person that starts the snowball effect of going viral. It can be done. It is not a get-rich-quick kind of field, though. You have to work at it, you have to stay at it, and you have to keep going. And know that you can do it. Know that you have the people behind you, right here, number 1 fan, that will push you and help you to keep going because it's worth it. Your story is worth being told. I can't say that enough. Your story is worth being told. We are storytellers. It's in our blood. We have to do it. So you might as well put it down on paper and then write the next one because I know there's a next one. Okay, on to D. This one is from Robert in Kansas. I saw that you are a Dallas Cowboy fan on Facebook. Why? So I don't know if this is supposed to be sarcastic or not, but yes, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. I have always been a Dallas Cowboys fan, but the reason I chose this question is because of the reason why. In fact, my daughter asked me this question this weekend as well as we were watching the Dallas Cowboys who beat the Redskins. Anyway, I have always watched football. I grew up watching football with my parents on the weekends, and we were always Dallas Cowboy fans. I have never been a big college football kind of person. I don't really watch that. If it's on, no biggie. But I don't go out of my way to watch it. I don't wear any colors. I don't have an orange or maroon flag going around or anything. But we always watched the NFL, and we were always Cowboy fans. And that was time that I got to spend with my parents, and especially my dad, that I will always really cherish. That was something that we had in common when there were a lot of things we didn't have in common. We always loved the Cowboys, whether they were doing great, like they are now, or whether they're not doing so great, like they have a lot. So I am not a fair weather fan. I will be a Cowboys fan until I die. Even if they never win another game, I will still root them on. So that is why I'm a Cowboys fan, because it has always brought me closer to my family. And it's something that we can all cheer and root on together, even when he doesn't quite understand the writing world. And I definitely don't understand the oil business at all. It's so funny because like half my family has been in the oil business. Most of my family has been in the oil business. And they start talking about stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, that's nice. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm sure, aside from my mom and my sister, I'm sure a lot of eyes glaze over when I start to talk about writing too. So that's, my brain is not mechanical. So if you see me with a power tool, it's going down. Let me just tell you, Jennifer's stepping out of her comfort zone and she's got a drill. So watch out, because they probably have to be replacing sheetrock or something later. Okay, so, this goes back to the resilience. This fits right in perfectly with him. This one is from Adam in Missouri. And how do you deal with bad reviews? Okay, everybody gets bad reviews unless you're just getting reviews from your friends and family. And that's just, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because reading is subjective. And you can write the best story in the world, and it is not going to connect with somebody. For example, I had a number of people tell me that I needed to read Newsletter Ninja, that it was the best book they've ever read, and that it'll change my world about newsletters. The book was just above my pay grade. I just couldn't understand it. I didn't get what she was saying. I found it dry. Just was not for me at all. But I mean, I've had tons and tons of friends say that that is the book to read about getting your newsletter to the next level. And I mean, everywhere I go, I'm hearing about Newsletter Ninja. And so it is so subjective. I mean, that is a nonfiction book, but it is just, writing is so subjective. If somebody picks up Quail Crossings and they'd rather read Stephen King, it's probably a good bet that I'm not going to get a very good review on that one. And so bad reviews happen. They used to bother me. In fact, my husband used to tell me about every single bad review until I had to tell him to stop. I know he was coming from a place of wanting to make me better, but at the same time, I was like, dude, you're killing my confidence here. So anyway, he stopped that. But I have a good friend. His name is Andrew Kaufman, and he's battling a really crazy disease right now. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it was a side effect from his cancer treatments. And his muscles just kind of stop. And his name is Andrew Kaufman, and he's a very, very talented suspense writer. And somebody asked him this question. Again, I believe it was at OWFI. That I go to that conference every year, so I get a lot of my brain fodder from there. And he said, when you get a bad review, just remember, you didn't write the book for them. And that's the truth. You better be writing that book for you. And then you'll find like-minded people. But if you're not writing your book for you, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I know Chris has got a book called Right to Market. But even he says that in that book, that you better be writing a story that you want to read. Because if you don't, it's going to be crap. It's got to be something that you love. And then you find, part of marketing is finding those people who love what you love. It's finding those people who want to go on that journey with you. They want to hear that story. They want to take that moment on the Great Plains during the Great Depression, and they want to feel that wind just as much as they want to feel that dust. So it's all about writing the story that you want to read. So make sure that you're doing that. And when you see those bad reviews, remember, in a lot of ways, that means you've made it because somebody is reading your book that isn't in your circle, and also that you didn't write it for them. And you don't need their approval, and you don't need their, oh gosh, the word just went right out of my head. Validation. That's what I'm looking for. You don't need their validation because you're writing your story for you. So make it the best story that you can tell. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to talk about why I write. And this one is about Winter Song. And you'll have to excuse me because I forgot to pull this off the shelf before I started going live. But thankfully, it is right here on my handy dandy little shelf. Winter Song. Why did I write Winter Song? This was my second book after Quail Crossings. And honestly, I wrote it for two reasons. One, I wasn't real sure about Quail Crossings and being a historical fiction writer. In all honesty, I wasn't sure I was qualified to write that story as much as I wanted to tell it. You guys have heard of the like imposter syndrome. Yeah, I still feel that a lot. But I did, especially when I wrote historical fiction, because I'm not a historian. I love history, but I've never considered myself an historian. So in order to step away from the historical fiction, and this was before I knew that I probably should write all the series at one time. You should really write the whole series at one time. Don't make my mistakes. I decided to write Winter Song. So once upon a time, I, in another lifetime, worked at Yellowstone KOA in West Yellowstone, Montana. I loved it, absolutely. Adored working there, even though I was a potty princess. Yes, that means I cleaned bathrooms. No, that does not mean I will come clean your bathroom. I'm pretty much done with those days. So anyway, worked at the KOA, went to Yellowstone National Park on my days off, and we also frequented a local watering hole, Wild West Pizza, and I don't remember what the bar was called. That was, like I said, another lifetime ago. But I met a young man named Ryan, and he and I had us a little whirlwind romance there in Montana. And I had to leave early. And I think about 3 or 4 days after I came back home, I received a call from my coworkers in West Yellowstone saying that Ryan had passed in a motorcycle accident. Broke my heart, of course. You know, when you have a summer romance and you know you're only going to be there for a short time, everything is just so heightened. All those emotions are just, they're at level 11. You know, that you want to think with your head, but you know you only have like this much time. And so I really did love him, and I feel like he really loved me. And so I was pretty devastated to hear that he had passed. So fast forward to the next summer, I decided to go back to West Yellowstone to work to get closure, but also because I love the area, absolutely love it. I do consider it a second home. While I was there in my little dorm, I was thinking about Ryan, and I was feeling very sorry for myself and the fact that he was gone. And all of a sudden, I had some water bottles sitting on my little micro fridge. And one of those water bottles like flew across the room. And I just knew it was him. I know that sounds crazy, but I knew he was there, and I knew he wanted me to stop feeling sorry for myself. So, of course, the writer in me, the storyteller in me, took that experience and thought, what if they do come back? What if he promised he never would leave me and he didn't? And so that is what Winter Song is all about. So, of course, fictional, of course. I can't say that, Ryan continued to be, my spirit guide or whatever for the rest of the summer or anything. But I knew in that moment that A, he was there, and B, he wanted me to quit feeling sorry for myself. And so I did. And I took that experience and wrote Winter Song. So that is why I wrote Winter Song. It has a lot to do with honoring his memory. He wasn't always the best guy, but he was a pretty great guy to me. So anyway, this week, because I want to honor Ryan and Winter Song, I am doing a deal where you can get Winter Song for $10. Yes, $10 is kind of my thing right now. $10. So I will mail it to you. $10. That is cheaper than you'll get it at online or even at one of my book signings. So if you want Winter Song, please write sold down in the comments and I will send it to you. I'll send you a PayPal invoice. There's $5 shipping and handling. I'll send you a PayPal invoice and then you'll get that within the next week or so. I do ask that you pay those invoices like within a week. Just, helps me keep my record straight. So Winter Song, $10. And this deal will be good for about 48 hours, okay? All right, so that's it. I'm 26 minutes. I'm right on time. Okay, so I really hope that you enjoyed this second episode of Facebook Live. I feel like I'm kind of getting my feet underneath me, so I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. This is a learning opportunity for me as well as it is for you. So I know that I will reach my stride. So if you have any questions, please private message me. And I will try to get to those on the next episode. You can also email me at jennifermcmurrian@gmail.com. And you can see Jennifer McMurrian, is on my profile there. So if you don't know how to spell McMurrian, because nobody does, it's okay. It's up there. So, and nobody knows how to say it either. So if you totally butchered it this whole time that you've known me, it's okay. Everybody else has to. So anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely week. I hope I've inspired you to continue to write. I hope that I've answered your questions. If I haven't, PM me. Let me know about it so I can answer them better for you. Because if anything else, I want everybody to walk away from this going, hey, I learned something today. So anyway, I will see you next Monday, and I hope you guys have a really great evening. Take care.